Hello, everybody, and welcome to another European Fantasy League edition at the Sixth League podcast. We have had a great tournament so far. Check out our video, which is now live on YouTube, and as a little surprise, due to some wizardry shown by the man, the myth, the legend, Abdul Rehman, we are now also on Spotify and Google Podcasts.
And soon to come Apple Podcast as soon as Apple confirms our ID. The only reason why we're not on Apple Podcast right now is because Apple hasn't approved our ID yet. But soon
So
we'll be there,
very
inshallah. You can
soon.
count on us.
Very soon. Some excellent news that, you know what, a lot of people have asked us for. And this is something that we have been trying since we started like months ago. And it's been made possible finally. So good news there. But you know what? It's time to get into the fantasy league. And Abdurrahman, how was your last week?
Um, you know, my week wasn't bad. Like match day one, I had 56 points. Match day two, I had
Mhm.
37, which was
Ooh, that
very
is
very sus match day. But match day 30, I got back up to 55 points. So
brilliant.
it's okay so far. If
Do you wanna open share screen for me as well so I can show the league table?
Yes, sir, I shall do that right now. All right, it's done.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah. So what? Why the bad week? Why the bad week?
it's
I
just
think everybody had a bad week. You know what? I think my second week was the worst one as well, and I don't know. It,
well,
that's just
let's
the way things
yeah.
happen.
Let me quickly
Um,
show
oh
our
wait.
okay.
Yeah,
You are
I'm on it.
okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So, number one in our league is Mr. Starstruck. Congratulations to you. You got 73 points this week.
Wow, that's impressive.
That is
That is
that is
impressive.
very, very good. Okay, so at 204 points as well, he has a 23-point lead on number two, Mr. Party Patrulin. And you know what? Might I just add, thank you everybody who's been watching this and has joined us, because the turnout for this league was a lot better than our actual Premier League Fantasy League, and we hope we can
Yeah,
get a similar turnout next season with the Fantasy League as
I
well. But
mean,
thank you.
especially when there's gonna
Um,
be like a reward at the end. Is there
so stay
is
tuned
there
for
gonna be a
that.
reward at the end?
I don't know. I don't know. I hope so. I really do.
Mhm.
um, Omar, Mr. Omar, who once again is not here. He's just gone AWOL on us. Well, not really, but he's on 167 points. So once again, you know, leading the race amongst us three, but
Amongst the sixth league.
amongst the sixth league. But you know what? He's not got a big lead because I am only 9 points behind him, and you are only nine. Wait, you are 16 points behind him,
But
right?
that's okay.
19, sorry.
In all honesty,
Mm,
what in the group stage, I didn't really think too much about it.
mm.
I just went
And
with
a lot of people messed up their first group because they were new to it. They didn't really understand it, you know,
and
with the whole substitutions and captaincy. Like there was
yeah,
a lot of
so
confusion.
that was massive.
Mm.
So I'll share with you a tactic,
Uh-huh.
later on, or should I share it with you now?
No, no. When we get into the
We
teams,
were
then let's
getting. I'll
talk
share it
about
to you
that.
later. But
Yeah.
yeah, and I went with a lot of some sentimental reasons. I went with future Real Madrid player Kylian Mbappe, and like just names instead of actual points
Yeah.
contributions,
You
and that
know,
kind of backfired. You never do that. You never do that.
mm,
Not in fantasy Premier League, not on FIFA.
mm,
You don't play with what's it called, sentimental players. You just go with what's best if you want the
mm,
ultimate output. Let's look at the other side of the league as well, Omar. How are the
mm.
relegation fodders doing?
We've got Bukhari Rice FC and Khalid Armin both competing for last spot. They're actually joint
Wait,
24th.
I have a question. I have a question. How is Bukhari Rice FC with a green arrow up when they're 24th? What are they up from? How's
This guy's down bad. This guy's down.
how is that possible? Like, how can you be up from 24th?
He's literally last place,
How
and he
can
went up. And I don't think it's
Oh,
possible to
no,
leave
no,
a
no. I
league, is it?
understand. I understand. We because no, no, no. I understand. There's
Mm-hmm.
25 members, right?
Yeah.
Scroll to the bottom. So he may be 25th, but now since he's on the same points, that's why he's 24th. That's how he's
Ah,
up. Ah, UEFA, we see what you've done there.
joint
Getting rid
24th.
of the
We
away
like
goals
that.
now. This, oh,
And
beautiful stuff.
just just looking at the table now, number 16. There's also two people tied at number 16. Ali being one of them. Wow.
Stevie Gerrard, mate. I remember when he used to
Um,
say this stuff is so easy. Well, how's
mm,
relegation fodder Stevie G fan base doing? Slipping
yeah.
all the way through.
But you know what? This is the first time he's joined, and for that, I don't think he's doing a bad job at all.
Yeah, not
Hope he
bad.
can join us for the actual Fantasy Premier League.
Hopefully.
Um, so let's. Okay, so before we go into our teams, let me just quickly talk about our, well, the new rules. The new
Yeah.
rules, I think, for the league. So up until now, you were allowed to make two transfers every match day.
I thought it was three.
For this, no, it was
Oh,
two
okay.
free transfers. And then for now, this week, there's a free wild card because there's obviously so many eliminations. People
Yeah.
had players, from different countries that aren't participating. There's a wild card. So up until tomorrow's deadline, which is at 7 p.m., you can make unlimited transfers. Other than that, your budget has increased.
Five
It was
million.
100 million. Now it's 105 million. You get an additional 5 million, which has made the difference, as you will see, I think, when
Thank you,
I
UEFA.
think if that's the rule that applies to Man City when it comes to FFP.
Yeah,
um,
definitely.
yeah, so I think because, obviously the smaller teams are getting eliminated and now you have the big
Yeah.
boys, and having players from all the big boys, you can't fit them for
You can't
100
fit them all.
million. So I think that was a very nice touch. And now finally the third change, you were allowed three players from a team, and that has increased to four now.
Yeah.
So you can have four players from every nationality. I forgot about that rule. I knew about the other two, but I completely forgot about this. So when I was just playing around with it, it just let me transfer in four Netherlands players. I mean, I stuck with three, as I'll show, but I was very surprised that,
Yeah.
I was allowed
Yeah.
a fourth one.
I have four
Um,
from two countries, by the way.
really?
Yeah,
Wow.
two
Okay.
countries. You can clearly tell I'm banking on the easy sign.
Mm. No, that's
Oh,
fair. I think that is a smart way to go
yeah.
because people are going to get eliminated real fast now. So
Yeah.
I'll just show you my team for the next week
Sure,
now.
let's go with yours first. Let us know what transfers you made as well.
Okay, so my strikers, my front three are the same. I haven't made any changes there. I
Yeah.
expect Denmark to beat Wales, but then be eliminated in the match after. So Poulsen will definitely be in for two games. And considering he's one of the, cheaper strikers available, and who's definitely starting, I decided to stick with him. Other than that, as we talked about, France, Belgium, we expect them to, have a long run in the tournament. So I have decided to stick with Lukaku and Benzema. And Benzema scored two goals in the last game. So, you know, it was an investment that I was very, double-minded over, but it
Yeah.
paid off. Midfield is where I have made changes. I made three changes. So De Bruyne and Wijnaldum were already in my team from last week. I got rid of a few players and brought in Perisic. Perisic is a player I wasn't going to initially get, but due to our talks yesterday and how Perisic always just somehow turns
He
up for
just
his
turns
national
up.
team.
I mean, he has a World Cup
Yeah.
final goal. You
Um,
know, this
my
guy's
guy always,
yeah,
those Gareth Bales, those Yarmolenkos, those Perisic, these guys always turn up for the national team. So I was like, you know what, might as well, because I predicted Croatia to beat Spain. So that's definitely two games if
yeah.
that goes through, and why not? Wijnaldum, we expected, Netherlands to get to the final, and I stuck with him. I have Dumfries, I stuck with him, and I also bought a keeper, Stecklenburg, just as an added option, from Netherlands. A cheap goalkeeper, I think only 4.7. So I got him.
Probably the
Berardi was my
reserve keeper, right?
who? Stecklenburg?
Stecklenburg, he's a reserve. He doesn't
No,
play.
no, he's starting.
He's starting.
He started every game so far. Yeah,
Okay.
4.7.
Wow.
So
Good
yeah.
for yeah.
And the thing is, Donnarumma plays in the first match day, and Stecklenburg plays on the second day. So if Donnarumma blanks, I can just bring him in as a
Yeah.
substitute. So that's great. Berardi, as you can see in the starting lineup, is my cheap midfield option, 6 million. He started the first two games, which would make me want to believe that he's the starting option compared to Kaisa and Bernardeschi. He didn't start the third game, but that was when, nine
Yeah, they
players were
arrested. They
rotated.
arrested.
So
Like even the likes of Locatelli and whatnot were arrested, right?
ex- exactly.
So
I
like,
think Jorginho was the only one and Donnarumma who
yeah.
started. Everyone else was rotated. And finally, I brought in Kai Havertz because
Oh my god.
I wouldn't trust Germany players, I think, just in general
Yeah.
for this Euros tournament. But because of the bracket, which we talked about yesterday, that side of the seed where there's only Netherlands and England as the two big teams, and we predicted Germany to go through. I brought in Havertz and I brought in Gosens as well for only 5.2. I think I thought, why not? These guys are probably going to be there for a long time. So
Yeah.
um, in defense, I haven't made many changes. I only made one, and I've already been through it. Gosens. I've had the Croatian defender. I don't know how to say his name. He's the cheap option. He starts. So does Kajair. I expect them both to play at least 2 games. Probably going to get to the quarterfinal. Pau Torres. Either he's going off or Gvardiol. We know that. So
Yeah.
I can afford one change. I'm cool with that. And Donnarumma because
I
I
think Pau
predicted
Torres
Italy
starts.
to win.
Pau Torres
Pau Torres.
starts. Pau Torres starts. He's the main
Mm,
guy. I think him
mm,
and Laporte will be the main
mm.
starters.
Main
Not
starters.
Eric Garcia and stuff. I think that was just tinkering from Luis Enrique.
Yeah, it was tinkering that worked though because 5 goals.
Yeah, but that's like from the other side, right? Dubravka FC.
Dubravka masterclass. Yes,
Dubravka FC.
absolutely.
I think you've made some smart changes. Definitely
Mm,
Donnarumma, like versus Austria.
mm.
Gosens, Dumfries. Like I mean, you only got two Dutch players, which is kind of surprising.
Three
Um,
if you count the keeper.
second, yeah, okay, right, right. You know
Yeah,
that is three. You got three.
yeah.
Um,
Because I was thinking that down. Okay, Italy play Austria now, but in the quarters and the semis, they're probably going to get Belgium or France, whereas
yeah,
Netherlands have the easier run. So I'm just going to sub him in for him. So it is what it is. But yeah.
you got De Bruyne though. What
Mm.
made you pick De Bruyne? I know he's been like great and all, but straight up into the midfield versus Portugal, you know from like minute one, my man Renato Sanchez is gonna be on his tail throughout.
Mm.
So and just not that like Portugal's are gonna play much more defensive. This guy is gonna be whipping in crosses at best. It's gonna be a very different game. So I don't know if he's worth the money, De
I mean,
Bruyne in general.
mm. I do agree with you there that Portugal are going to be extremely defensive, and you are going to see a lot of crosses come in from De
Yeah,
Bruyne. There's no doubt about that. He's just De Bruyne. He came off the bench and he got a goal and an assist. Starts the next
yeah,
game, he got
that's
a
so
goal,
true.
I think, or assist. I mean, he's
He is a
usually
machine.
Hazard is the guy who's doing the things for the Belgian team, and this time it's been De Bruyne. Since he's come on, so worst case scenario, he doesn't perform, and I have 3 very good options on my bench to bring on because
Sh-
Havertz and
sh-
Benzema play at the end.
Surely Benzema and Havertz are not going to be on the bench
No, no. So the thinking behind that was these guys play on like the last day or the
later.
second last day.
Yeah,
So obviously, I'm not gonna get points from everyone. Someone's gonna blank.
that's
Whoever
true.
blanks, they're off, and I'm gonna bring those guys on. That's what I did last time with Benzema as well. So yeah. Should we go to your team?
Yes, I am ready to show you my team, and so, uh, as you've mentioned already, can you see my team?
Yes, we
So I
can.
made 9 substitutes, 9 transfers. So it has been an overhaul for my team. I sold Kylian Mbappe and my other striker, who I cannot seem to remember right now, Weghorst, because he was playing but he wasn't scoring, and I brought in Memphis Depay and Karim Benzema. To your surprise, that was actually a net of like 0 million.
Mbappe,
So
I guess. Yeah.
Mbappe tax, right?
Yeah.
Actually, like a little less than 1 million, but like completely worth it.
Mm,
Um, I stuck with Bale and Wijnaldum. I always banked on Wijnaldum, knowing that like the kind of role he plays with the Netherlands and Locatelli as well.
mm.
However, I brought in Kai Havertz.
Ooh.
For I sold Kovacic and Alaba because
Mm-hmm.
Alaba's probably playing center back next game. He's probably playing center back next game. So I don't want it to be him in the midfield. So I sold him and Alaba, and instead I got Kai Havertz and Lorente, Marcus Lorente.
Ooh,
Now
those
Lorente
are good.
is amazing. He's gonna play right mid, right back sort of role, right?
Mm-hmm.
But this guy has had one of the best attacking seasons with Atleti in his personal life, and he's like
Mm.
scored so many winners for like Atleti. So I'm just counting on the few brain cells of Luis Enrique, and hopefully that he'll play in a more attacking position, and perhaps he'll be able to replicate that role, and perhaps get some of those same performances, and hopefully for same goals and assists. So I see him bombarding a much forward, and I do think he'll play
Mm.
some sort of role. However, the fact that he's 5 million
That is what makes him a
is
steal.
is the main reason why he's here, because he's
Mm.
5 million. Because
A
even if
guaranteed
he's just
starter and 5 million.
yeah, even if he
Yeah.
doesn't start, 5 million, and if he starts, completely worth it for a midfielder with such potential. So yeah,
I,
um,
I would I would make a recommendation here, Abdul Rehman. Um, I I I need to change this for my team as well because I just realized you
yeah,
have Gosens and Havertz starting.
yeah,
They play on the last day. I feel like it's better to keep them on the bench and then bring them on
yeah. But you
later
can
on.
make subs though. You're gonna have substitution windows.
Yeah, no, I get that. But
Yeah,
if Blind, for example, Blind is playing on the second day, and
yeah,
if Blind gets like a master class, he gets like 10 points, let's
yeah,
say. You can't bring him on after that. You get me?
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
That's a good point. I'm gonna do that actually, and that was actually what I was gonna say about the captains as well, right?
Mm.
We got our fixtures over here. I would say you make your captain like Gareth Bale or Locatelli or
Mm.
whoever, right?
I've got my captain as Poulsen, the
So
Denmark
like
striker. So,
let Bale or like Locatelli, Spinazzola, even Donnarumma, see how these guys
hmm
perform, and
mm.
then you change it. Like if you want to change them, change it to
Exactly.
Wijnaldum, Depay, Lukaku, Ronaldo, whoever you got,
And if
and
these guys mess up as
if
well,
these guys
you
mess
just.
up, then you got Marcus
Mm.
Llorente, you got Karim Benzema. You know, there's like this
I,
substitution
I do
window
want to
stuff.
say, I do want to say you can only change captain twice. So if the third
I
time, the
mean,
third
twice
day
is a
ones
lot.
mess up,
Twice is a lot. Like, come on,
Abdurrahman, you
if
know the second match day,
yeah,
I had captained who did I? Italy. I had captain Insigne blank. I changed it to Lukaku blank. I captained Benzema blank. So I know it feels like a lot, and normally that would make sense, but in these tournaments you never know because there was a no. I if you had to put a probability that all three of those big names, big players would blank in a match week, you'd probably put like a
yeah.
0.01% chance, and it happened.
No, I agree with you, but like just looking at the
Yeah,
fact that France are playing Switzerland, the Dutch are playing Czech Republic,
Czech Republic.
the Dutch play much earlier, right? Uh,
Mm-hmm.
they actually play back to back. So I feel like if it's
Yeah.
not gonna be Memphis Depay, it's gonna be Benzema, right? Because uh,
Mm-hmm.
realistically, I'm not gonna expect Kai Havertz to go all blazing out against England. Just and
You mean
perhaps
Champions
Gareth.
League final winning goal machine Kai Havertz?
Well, he's gonna be playing against Jordan the Great Pickford and not
Ooh,
Ederson Morales. So,
oh, that's true.
another transfer I made is for both of my keepers.
Yeah.
I transferred out Thibaut,
Ooh.
and my other keeper was eliminated. So I brought in Donnarumma and Olsen of Sweden, because
Mm-hmm. We talked about this.
Sweden play
Yeah.
Ukraine, so they got like a kind of like an easy chance of sorts.
Mm.
Um, Comparatively, if Yarmolenko doesn't pull a madness, which he will, which he
No,
will.
like
We've talked
just
about
thinking
it.
about it, we talked about this, and for example, yesterday I predicted Denmark to go through, and you predicted Wales. We can see that
Yeah.
in the teams. I've stuck with Poulsen. You went with Bale.
You've
You can say the
stuck with
same about
Croatian
Olsen.
players.
I've
You
stuck
got
with
two.
Croatian
You got
players.
two
Yeah.
Croatian players. I don't think.
You've got
I don't.
Spanish player.
Yeah, I've got a Spanish player. That's,
Mm-hmm.
but that's also due to, like, you can tell my faith in a team like Spain. You would imagine, right? Like 5 years
Yeah.
ago, 6 years ago, you'd have at least three, if not four, Spanish players. Um,
Yeah, of
like, I
course.
mean, Iniesta, David Villa, like these guys would just roll off your tongue. But now you're just like, perhaps not. I got Toloi. I don't know how to say this name.
Okay.
Very cheap, plays
Mm-hmm.
kind of like a center back, right back kind of position,
Mm-hmm.
and he's
Oh,
played
wow.
90 minutes in the third match day, second, so he's probably gonna be a sub, right?
Mm.
But given how Florenzi is, you know,
He
you
might
would
even start.
you know I can expect anything, and I can expect this guy to come on. I just feel like my subs bench is a true subs bench, right? My subs bench, except for Daily Blind, who's gonna start. These
Mm-hmm.
guys are actually substitutes in real life as well. So that's why you can kind of see I really went strong with my playing 11.
Yeah.
So I tried to put as much quality on the starting 11, and subs to be, well, what they are, subs. So we got a great match day.
Yeah.
I am gonna tinker with what you said. That's a great advice to all our
Mm-hmm.
followers as well. That play them as they come. Put
Yeah.
Welsh and Danish players first. And we're gonna get a substitution
Italians
window after
first,
26 June.
Yeah.
The night off, sit together with your mates, and changing your subs, and make sure all the players that are playing here are at your playing 11, so you can change them later. So that's sounds good. And hopefully, we can see some of our guys, not to name any names, but Stevie G's and the Bukhari Rices climb up the ranks a little bit more.
That raise from 24 to 24th position, that was
25th to
something
24th.
special.
Come on, Omar, don't. Let's have some respect here.
Respect, respect,
Respect.
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 3-0.
Yeah, you
um,
lost 3-0 there. uh,
um, and yeah, that was our fantasy league, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for like such a great response in the league. Be sure to check out our video yesterday where we talk about the
yeah.
actual Euros, the group stages, where we go into our predictions for the knockout stages, who we think is gonna win. Um, and yeah, uh, please like, subscribe, leave your comments, leave your thoughts with us in the comments below. Let us know what you think. And thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time. Bye bye.